Okay, everybody, what's going on? This is your boy Burgundy Boss here with another. Ooh, ooh. Here's your boy Burgundy Boss here with another recap of another primetime game. This time, we run into the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington football team. This might possibly be the worst Washington football game I have ever seen in my entire life as a Washington fan. As Matthew Berry had tweeted out, it is the worst game he has ever seen in his lifetime as a Washington fan. And that man is 51 years old. I I don't even know what to say about this game. Um, this game was embarrassing. This team that we saw tonight is a Bishop Sycamore-esque team. This team that we saw tonight was horrid. This team that we saw tonight does not even belong in the National Football League. That was so bad. Tonight was an embarrassment. I never want to see my team play that bad ever again. I can only hope that this leads to us drafting a quarterback to potentially solve these quarterback problems we have. Uh, you'll notice that I titled the video QB Purgatory. And that's where we've been for the last 25 years, or, you know, however long it's been since I've been a fan. Because that's, we've never had a quarterback. The closest thing, and I hear this argument all the time that gets made, the closest thing that Washington has ever had to a franchise quarterback is Robert Griffin III. We saw for one season what us having a franchise quarterback would look like. And guess what? We went to the playoffs. We had an elite offense. We were a team that could not be stopped at the end of the season. We ran the table and snuck into the playoffs. Those are the types of things that a franchise quarterback does. I live here in Kansas City, so I see Patrick Mahomes all the time. And I was sitting here watching this game with my sister tonight. And as soon as Chris Collinsworth said that sidearm underneath throw that Taylor Heineke made to the flat was as good or better than any throw that Mahomes had ever made, I already knew that we were set up for failure. She saw that and she heard that and she looked at me and laughed. Because everyone knows that we are a joke. And especially when announcers have to make compliments like that. And you just hear the compliment and you know it's a stretch. And I'm speechless about this game. I can see Sean Taylor rolling over in his grave right now, watching this team play NFL football. We've got our captain of our defense on the sideline punching, another player who is thought to be, his best friend and, former teammate, from the trenches of Alabama. Those two make up the Alabama wall that has been talked about this defensive front for so long. And really, the two of them are fighting. And I seen some tweets that went out and, they're brothers. They will be fine. Get through this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, because I've never even seen or heard of any sort of tension between the two of them. And for it to go to throwing fists around, that's a pretty big step. You don't really throw fists, with somebody who you love or a brother, It's not really fitting. So I don't really buy that they'll be okay. They're just friends. I seen my boy Bleeding Burgundy and Gold tweet out, if we trade for a quarterback this offseason, you can bet your ass Daron Payne will be part of that trade. Daron Payne's a good football player, but he doesn't seem to be the leader that Jonathan Allen does. Daron Payne is an elite run stuffer and an elite pass rusher at times, but he can never seem to put it together. He can never seem to be consistent, and he doesn't have the leadership qualities that a John Allen has, that a Chase Young has. You know, I don't necessarily want to see him go. I think what we have up front is special, and it's something that you only see once every few decades, that a team goes all in like that on the front. So I mean, we're gonna look at this box score a little bit, and we'll talk about it, and then we'll probably get out of here because I'm not really in the mood to talk right now. Okay, so the final score was 56-14. I knew we were in trouble early in the first half when Dallas went up 21-0, and all the interceptions, the tip pass to interceptions, the pick sixes, like watching what Tank Lawrence just did right there, where he picked the ball off, weaved in between linemen, ran through arm tackles of running backs and just fell in the end zone. I was like, oh, this is about to be a show, because if this is how we're going to, this is how we're going to respond to a tip pass interception, like, it's about to be a long night. And it was. It was a very long night for that offense, for that defense, for special teams, for the coaching staff, for the players, for that front office. I mean, I can't even imagine Ron Rivera's temperament going into half. And, the broadcast said that he was pissed off, and everyone's pissed off, and that's kind of what led to the fight between Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen. I think Jonathan Allen called out Daron Payne on his inconsistent play, and Daron Payne didn't like it. And Daron Payne probably tried to turn it back around on Jonathan Allen, and Jonathan Allen didn't respond. And when he did respond, it was because Daron Payne poked him in the forehead. Let me tell you, you poke me in the forehead, we are swinging. No doubt about it. Because them are fighting words. They poke me on the forehead, really? Come on, that's for kids. So Taylor Heinicke. Rough night for him. This is an elite defense they're playing against. But he has a rough night. He goes 7 of 22 for $121, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So on that first interception he has, where he just basically punts the ball on first down, where, I mean, do you know the thing that I am most sick of seeing from this team is Terry McLaurin beat a DB by 5 yards. Quarterback sees him, throws him the ball, and then Terry's got to come 5 yards back. By the time that happens, the DB is there, and the DB either picks it off or forces an incompletion. And on my recap of Thursday Night Football last week, when it was the Titans and the 49ers, and I had Brandon Smith, the Titans fan, on my broadcast, he said that Terry McLaurin, in his opinion, is D-Jax who can stay healthy. And when he said that initially, I was like, no. D-Jax is a one-trick pony. Like, Come on now. Terry McLaurin offers so much more than Djax, you know? And I'll say this too. Terry McLaurin is a willing blocker. I can't say that Deshaun Jackson is a willing blocker. Uh, Terry McLaurin, you know, he's an elite route runner. Deshaun Jackson is just really fast and can run past everybody. Deshaun Jackson, a better comp for Deshaun Jackson would be Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill does everything that Deshaun Jackson did, but at a much higher level. Um, you know, Terry McLaurin is a complete wide receiver. I am starting to get kind of lukewarm on Terry. I'm not as high on Terry as I thought, I was like, man, Terry's a top 5 receiver in the NFL. He leads the NFL in contested catches. All this other stuff about Terry that made me think that he was a top 5 NFL receiver. Well, I'm starting to back off of that a little bit because Terry McLaurin, as a top 5 receiver, I expect you to beat double teams. I expect you to catch darn near every pass that is thrown to you, whether it should have been caught or not. Right now he's playing like a top 20 wide receiver. He's good, but if he's a team's only weapon, all you have to do is double him and you can take him away. And that's what teams are doing to us. They double Terry McLaurin, they take him away. Point blank, period. That's all you got to do. So I really hope that in this offseason, Ron Rivera sees, man, we've got to get more weapons. I think injuries really killed us this year when it comes to weapons. We had Curtis Samuel, who was gone all year, basically. He came in and made a couple catches in a couple of games, and that was that. But you got Curtis Samuel, and then you got De'Ami Brown, who really hasn't, you can't really expect a lot out of De'Ami because De'Ami is a rookie, and rookies don't always produce right away, especially rookie wide receivers. Tight end has kind of been a pleasant surprise, at least for me it has. I am full head of steam on the John Bates boat. This would be my 5-year plan at tight end, okay? So Logan Thomas just signed that 3-year deal. I say, and Logan Thomas is what, 30, 31? So you let him play like 2 seasons on that 3-year deal. You let him loose heading into that last season. That's when John Bates moves in as your primary tight end. Like, some of the stuff in this game tonight that John Bates was doing was Gronk-esque. I'm not gonna go as far to say, Gronk type catches and just his ability tonight that we saw to catch the ball in a contested area, to break tackles, to stiff arm guys, and to run after the catch, I felt was really special. And he's already an elite run blocker, so it's not like you're dealing with a receiving tight end and you've got to teach him to block. No, this is a blocking tight end who has receiving ability, and he's shown he can receive. The one thing about John Bates is, though, he doesn't have that crazy athleticism that you want in like a number 1 tight end that you see with so he's a lot closer to a Travis Kelce or a George Kittle than he is to a Kyle Pitts or a Darren Waller, who are basically glorified wide receivers playing tight end. They don't really block. Kelce is a willing blocker. George Kittle might be the best run blocker on San Francisco's football team. That's, a story for another day. But, I mean, I don't know, guys. Like, you had Logan Thomas. He went down, and he's been down most of the year. Haven't really had him this year. So then you had Ricky Seals-Jones, and I felt pretty comfortable with Ricky Seals-Jones as a tight end too, especially after that catch he made week 2 against the Giants. But I do not feel comfortable with Ricky Seals-Jones as my number one tight end for a full season. I mean, you go back these last couple of years for Ricky Seals-Jones. You go all the way back to Arizona. Arizona tried to use him as a tight end one. Guess what? It didn't work. He caught, random touchdown here or there, and that was it. Then he goes to Cleveland. Well, in Cleveland, he was no higher than a tight end two. He caught a couple of touchdowns here or there. Goes to Kansas City. He's back behind, he's back behind Kelsey, and, I think even Blake Bell was there at that time, and he was behind him. And it was like, man, are you serious? And then you're going to bring this guy in and try to make him. Now, I'm sure Ron and crew did not have the intention on making him their tight end one. I'm sure Ron and crew did not want him to be tight end one. That's just kind of how the chips felt, right? I mean, but at some point, this team made no movement around the trade deadline to get weapons. There were guys out there. There was Odell Beckham, and there were other guys that didn't get moved. But they need more weapons. That's all I'm trying to say. Somebody to take pressure off of Terry, which we've been saying for 2-3 years now. Ever since Terry had his big rookie year, we're like, all right, cool. Terry can, in Terry's rookie year, first off, let me say this. Terry's rookie year, I was like, all right, kid's pretty good. We definitely found our wide receiver 2 at minimum. Goes into year 2, has another monster year. Oh, I think we might have found wide receiver 1. And and it's like, oh, okay, we found wide receiver 1, but now we need somebody to take pressure off wide receiver 1. I do not want this to be a DeAndre Hopkins situation where we're trying to find, we find a quarterback finally for Terry, but then there's nobody else. And so teams just double and triple Terry, and we've got nobody else to throw to. And that's where we are, except we haven't found the quarterback yet. So, I mean, and I say this, and it's not an exact comparison, but Terry McLaurin and DeAndre Hopkins are extremely similar in the fact that they both are able to produce with random quarterbacks, random dudes throwing them a football, and that whenever they get a quarterback, they can become elite and, top 5 in the NFL. But, I am now having second thoughts about that. I'm now wondering that, well, maybe not. Maybe he can't. Maybe Terry needs other guys around him to take pressure off of him. J.D. McKissick is another guy that we lost this year. We didn't really lose him this year, but he's hurt now. Who knows when he's coming back, if he's coming back. He's on an expiring deal. So Ron and crew have to decide if they're going to pay that man. So that's another thing we have. The one thing I will say that works in our favor is, I don't know how updated it is, but I believe we're top 5 in the NFL in cap space next year. So that's good. So that means we'll be able to sign some big name guys. And I'm hoping it's more than one. Because your big name guy you went after this year, Curtis Samuel, complete flop. Complete flop. Did not play hardly at all. Basically took a redshirt year. And they don't even want to shut him down. Every week it's, he's questionable. He might play. Oh, he could play this week. He's questionable again. Oh, we got it. He comes out and plays 10 snaps. Oh, he aggravated this injury, so he's going to be questionable again. They need to just go ahead and shut down Curtis Samuel for the year. I'm tired of these games that they play, and they need to spend some money this offseason. They need to get some weapons. They need to get a quarterback in the draft. I'm sick of this. I've been a fan almost my entire life, and man, this is fucking stupid. I'm tired of it. Man, I got to get off my soapbox here, guys. Let's go back. I want to look at some more of these stats. Kyle Allen comes in. Granted, it was against reserves. Kyle Allen comes in 8 of 10 for 67 yards and a touchdown. Well, that's a pretty good start now. I'll give him that. That's a pretty darn good start. Heineke, 7 of 22, 121, a touchdown, and 2 picks. With numbers like that, I know it was against bench guys mostly, but you got to think of swapping those two. I mean, that's horrible for Taylor. Horrible. Jarrett Patterson was our leading rusher tonight, 9 carries for 33 yards. Gibson had 6 for 29. Carter had the 15-yard scamper. Jonathan Williams with 9 yards. For a team that at the beginning of the season we decided we were going to be a pass team, according to Scott Turner, and then halfway through the year we decide we really don't have the weapons to pass. We're going to flip it around. We're going to be a run team. And then we have quite a bit of success as a run team. We're like, well, we're going to do the whole square peg round hole thing on this one. And we're going to get away from running the ball because, well, that's just what we do here in Washington. We do the opposite of what seems like needs to be done. And you have like 70 yards rushing as a team. Really? $70 yards rushing. No touchdowns from a rushing team. Can't expect to win like that, guys. So, anybody have any idea who our leading receiver was tonight? I'll give you a second to think about it. The answer: 2 catches, 53 yards. Dyami Brown. I know lots of you you're off the Dyami Brown train. I think tonight he proved that if he's given some time, he can come in and he can be a similar receiver to Terry McLaurin. And if we can have 2 Terry McLaurins, that would be great. I'll sign up for that all day. But, we need to get him involved if that's the case. So, after him, it wasn't even Terry. I know a lot of you probably said it was Terry. Terry wasn't even second. Terry was third. John Bates, 2 for 45 and a touch for John Bates. Y'all keep wondering why I keep pumping up the John Bates train. John Bates is a good football player. Another late round guy that Ron and crew have found and has turned out to be really well. Kudos to them. Terry is third on that list. 3 catches for 40 yards. Not exactly numbers you want to see from your number 1 wide receiver, even if you're a rushing team. Tennessee's leading receiver had over 150 yards the other night. Are you kidding me right now? What are we built on? Our offense has no identity. To start the season, we're a pass-first team. And then midway through the season, well, actually, it really looks like we're a rushing team. We're rolling, right? And these damn divisional games popped up. We're not a run team. We're not a pass team. I don't know what kind of team we are. Nobody knows what kind of team we are because we have no identity. One week we can blow guys off the ball. The next week we come in and get dominated. This team has so many questions right now. I don't have any answers. None. None. I expect Adam Humphries to be gone in the offseason, and Dax Milne already looks like he's playing at a Adam Humphries-esque level as a 7th-round pick. I love it. Love it. Defensively, not a great night either, because you know who our 2 leading tacklers were? Our 2 starting safeties, not named Cam Curl. Jeremy Reeves had 6. Bobby McCain had 7. Never good when your safeties are your leading tacklers. But that's because we didn't have any healthy linebackers. We were starting, Dejon Harris. Who? Dejon Harris. Cam Curl had 4 tackles. Woo. Don't get me wrong. I am still on the Cam Curl train. Deron Payne with a sack. Matt Ioannidis with a sack. Dejon Harris with a sack. Not a good look, guys. Not a good look. This team as a whole, not looking great right now. Priority number 1 has to be to get a quarterback. Even the broadcasters tonight. Okay, well, I think that in the offseason, priority for Washington has to be to get a quarterback. Yeah, I'd say you're right. They tried to get a quarterback last offseason. Didn't work out. Fine. Get it done this offseason. I don't care if it's Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, who's not coming here, Aaron Rodgers, who's not coming here. Deshaun Watson's probably not coming here. It's probably going to be a draft. I don't exactly love Matt Corral for what you're going to have to give up to go get him. The guys that I love that are going to be in our range, and we, draft season rolls around, we might have our pick of the litter. I'm not exactly high on Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett might be the best quarterback in this draft. I don't like his attitude, his arrogance, his cockiness. I like my quarterback to be humble. Look at all the quarterbacks in the NFL. They have a cockiness to them, but they're humble. I don't see any humble to Kenny Pickett's game. That fake slide run that he did, that was enough to show me that he's too cocky. The quarterbacks I like for Washington, Malik Willis, Sam Howell. Those are my top 2. Not saying those are the best 2, but I want a quarterback with mobility. I do not need Robert Griffin III mobility, though. But Malik Willis has the most forced missed tackles in college football for a quarterback this year. And Sam Howell, I believe, has the most runs of 20 yards or more. This was a mess, guys. This game was a mess. This showed that our culture is not damn good. Ron hasn't fixed it. Or this game was just a product of us being a young team, still figuring it out, and guys getting frustrated because we aren't winning. John Allen said it last offseason. Not this past one, but the one prior. Hey, we hate losing. He was talking for him. He was talking for Deron Payne. He was talking for the whole team. He said, we hate losing. Interesting. For a team of guys that hates losing, we sure do it one hell of a lot. We've got to get this fixed. We've got to turn this around. Dallas whipped our ass tonight. No question about it. Dallas, hell of a game. I mean, they stuck to their guns. They passed the ball. They ran the ball. They did whatever they wanted. They threw a touchdown to their offensive linemen. During the broadcast, Chris Collinsworth actually joked that Mike McCarthy looked to the chain gang and asked him for a play call because everything was working. He's not wrong. Everything was working. I mean, they could do no wrong offensively. They brought up the point that their offense is in competition with their defense to see who can do better. What does that say about us? I'll tell you, we don't have a competition like that. Only good teams have competitions like that. We are not a good team. We are a bottom tier team. Don't get me wrong. I'm super supportive of this team. I will bleed burgundy and gold till I'm dead. But we can't have games like this. This game was a travesty. And it's games like this that make me think about guys like Rodney from the Washington Football Addicts. Like, yeah, maybe he was right to step away. You know, after so long, your body can only put up with so much failure before you accept the failure and become the failure. I mean, can't have this anymore. That's going to do it for me tonight, guys. I can't talk anymore. This is your guy, Burgundy Boss, signing off. I will do an official recap of this game tomorrow. And then we will get all excited for Philadelphia. Woo. I find it hard to believe that we're going to play any different against Philadelphia. But I could be wrong. We could come out. Philadelphia could sleep on us. We could whip their tails. Till this team gets a franchise quarterback, there will probably be very little optimism. And maybe that's just because this wound is fresh and it's cut open and it's bleeding like a stuffed pig. But I mean, that's how I'm feeling right now. Till next time, this is your guy, Burgundy Boss. I'm signing off. Peace.